ESPY Awards happened, and of course, the biggest news story coming from the awards was the fact that Caitlyn Jenner won the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage. Now, if you saw the speech, you already know that it was pretty inspirational and very courageous for her to go up there and talk about her struggles and also what it means for her to go through her transition in a very public way. Let me give you a little bit of her speech. She says, "I came to kind of a revelation that out of all the things I have done in my life, that maybe this is my calling. To take my struggle, throw it out in front of the world, maybe I can bring understanding on this subject." She also says, "It's time that I do my best. This is an issue we can deal with. This is not something people have to die over." And prior to saying that, she talked about the number of people, specific transgender individuals, that actually either took their own lives or dealt with severe bullying as a result of them not identifying with the gender that they were born with. So as I watched that speech, I have to be honest, I did get pretty emotional. It's a really difficult thing to do. And keep in mind that this is her first public speaking engagement after her transition.
I'll go further. She had this quote that I really like where she said, trans people deserve something vital. They deserve your respect. And she said, and from that respect comes a more compassionate community, a more empathetic society, and a better world for all of us. And the reason I really like that is it actually, and I don't want to overdo it, I'm not saying she is Martin Luther King. I want everybody to calm down, okay? But Martin Luther King had a great quote about, he said, look, we're not going down to Selma, Alabama, and all these Mississippi and all these places in the South just to help black people in this country. We want to liberate the white people in the South from the hatred that's in their hearts. Okay.
That's very powerful.
And we want to set them free, and we want to help make them more moral, decent people. I'm sure the people they were battling didn't perceive it as such, but it turned out to be true. He did liberate a lot of people in this country, not just in the South, and certainly not just black people, but he got it to a point where people started to see everybody as equal and as human beings, and that liberated us all. So when she talks about how, look, it doesn't just help trans people, it helps create a more empathetic community, which helps us all, I think she's absolutely right about that. So I thought it was a great speech. I know a lot of people are mad because they view her as part of the Kardashian clan and she shouldn't have gotten this award. I don't get it. She's one of the most famous athletes of my lifetime. It's not like she's a minor athlete. It wasn't like she played minor league baseball.
She won the gold medal in the Olympics in 1976. I mean,
at the time in 70, there was no bigger athlete, arguably in 1976, and arguably for a long stretch of time in America. So is she athlete enough? Absolutely, right? Does she have courage? I just don't understand people questioning it.
First of all, I agree with you. I don't understand the people questioning it. And also, I don't agree with the people or understand the people who are outraged by this. Let's say you don't agree with it and you think someone else should have won. It's the ESPY Awards. Who cares? Like, I think it's a no, I'm going to keep it real. I think it's a great honor. I'm happy that she won the award. But here's the thing. Her winning that award doesn't change anyone's life. Actually, I stand corrected. Her winning that award absolutely changes people's lives. People who identify as transgender, people who have been disenfranchised in the society, people who have been bullied and treated as second-class citizens in society. Who knows how many young people saw that speech and now feel brave enough or comfortable enough to finally live their lives the way that they see fit. Okay, so her winning that award actually speaks volumes to people and actually does change lives. For all those people who don't identify as transgender, who are sitting there saying, oh, someone else should have won that award, how is her winning that award affecting your life in a negative way? Shut the fuck up and move on.
Okay, and you're right that there is no downside to it. People keep talking about like, oh, what about other people who could have won it? But other people who are very worthy could have won it every year. So how about in the other years when other people won it, Michael Sam or whoever else? Like, why wasn't there talk of like, oh my God, somebody that had no limbs or no head could have won it? Why did they give it to Michael Sam or why did they give it to someone else? Yeah, somebody else could. There was worthy candidates. There was no question. There was also worthy candidates the year before and the year before, but nobody flipped out those years.
Let's just move on. Let's call it how we actually see it. You feel uncomfortable that there's a transgender individual coming out and in my opinion, earning this award, right? It makes you uncomfortable, right? It's strange. Oh my God, this is now becoming a normal thing in society. Good, it should be a normal thing in society. If that makes you uncomfortable, then you need to educate your ignorant ass and move on.
Now, I will say this. Look, I think that the Bob Costas of the world, and he said it's crass exploitation, etc. I think that what's bothering them is not that she's transgendered, it's that she's in some ways a Kardashian.
Yes.
It's gotten under their skin, and they can't stop thinking about it. And they're like, oh, it's going to help her show, and she's got an E! show coming up. And so I know, I got it. They're part of this reality TV that none of us like, right? I have no interest in it. I didn't like Bruce Jenner's role in the Kardashians, but I'm actually lying because I never saw a minute of it, right? Yeah. I disliked it so much I didn't watch it at all, right? So I'm with you on that, but that is not connected to her being courageous. Frank DeFord, who wrote a book about Arthur Ashe, is pretending to speak for Arthur Ashe. I think Arthur Ashe would have totally gotten this award for Caitlyn Jenner. Anyway, he says, I can understand and sympathize with the torment Bruce Jenner has endured all these years, but I don't think it rises to the level of courage.
Are you serious
right now? I mean,
now?
that's fucking crazy. Look, I don't mind Frank DeFord. I like Frank DeFord, but you're 1,000% wrong. You think it's easy to come out as transgendered and transition from a man to a woman, especially when you were this famous and was known for something else before?
No.
Of course it takes courage. Of course. How could you say that?
It's not even that he is a public figure who, or she at this point, right? But someone who is a male public figure who is now coming out as a woman, right? It goes even further than that. Bruce Jenner was the definition of masculinity. Okay, he was an American icon. People looked up to him. He was this male athlete. And to come out and say, I don't identify with that gender, I actually identify as a woman, is one of the most courageous things you could possibly do, especially after the relationships you've had, the children you've had, the age that he's in or she's in at this point. I mean, I think that that's beyond courageous. And if these people don't see it as courageous, well, then I don't know what the definition of courageous is.
And finally, I actually do think, as Anna said, no downside, but there is a big upside here. I think this is a transcendent moment, right? Yes. I think that a lot of people will look at this and go, yeah, maybe I should have the courage to do the same thing, or maybe it's not so crazy. I mean, so I knew Bruce Jenner as an athlete, or I saw him on the Kardashian show, and I know that guy, and so now he's a woman. Oh, I get it. And maybe they sympathize or empathize with him in some way. And then so when he turns into Caitlyn Jenner, they go, okay, oh, I get it. She was a woman all along. I just didn't know it.
Right.
I mean, it helps in that process. And I actually think, is there a person in America who transitioned so publicly and raised awareness to this degree? I think the answer is an overwhelming no. I think this is a huge moment for transgender people in this country and their acceptance.
Yes.
I couldn't think of a better, more worthy person to get this otherwise not that big a deal award.